In this video, we're going to cover the panel on software and services. If you scroll down here, of course, after we've logged into our cPanel control panel, I'm going to scroll down probably close to the bottom, and you'll see here the software services panel. Now, this is probably my favorite of all the sections in cPanel. This is where the magic happens for anyone that wants to quickly and easily create websites, forums, support systems, and much, much more. Now, here you will also see a bit of a difference with various web hosting services that provide a cPanel style control panel. This is one. Here's a different one. Let's scroll on down here and see what we've got here under software and services. For this particular web hosting company, there's a lot more bells and whistles. We've got Cloudflare, which is a great way to speed up any site that you've got created, for example, WordPress. You've got the CGI Center, you've got Ruby on Rails, Ruby Gems, Perl modules, PHP pair packages, PHP configurator. A lot of times these options are not even available, and when they are, they're very limited. For example, on this web hosting service, you see that most of those aren't even available. You've got the Perl modules, you've got the PHP pair packages, and the PHP configurations. Now, even with these showing here, they may be limited in functionality, and for that matter, they might even be turned off, in which case you simply contact your web hosting service and see if they can activate them for them. Sometimes they might even say, no, let us know what you want to do with them, and we'll take care of it on our end. So just be prepared for that. And frankly, if you don't know what you're doing and you just want to poke around a little bit, these are not the areas that you want to do that with, because these can destroy not just your site, but access to the entire server for anybody on that server. So you want to tread lightly whenever you're messing around with some of these things. You don't know what you're doing. But the biggie here is Fantastico Deluxe, the big blue smiley face. This is where you can go to create a lot of those applications I had mentioned earlier, that being blogs, content management sites like Joomla or Drupal or WordPress, even customer support systems like OS Ticket or PHP support tickets. You've got your e-commerce that are easily built by a few clicks of the mouse. OS Commerce, ZenCart, mailing lists, image galleries, and so on. Now, Fantastico Deluxe has been around for a long time, and it's got a lot of pluses. The big minus for me is a lot of times they're not updated. For example, under WordPress, if we take a look at this particular web hosting company does not have this WordPress installation up to date. Right now, as this video is being recorded, the most recent version of WordPress is 3.5.1. And we come over to this web hosting company and we check out WordPress. It's the same way. But if we look at what I consider a competitor to Fantastico Deluxe, that would be Softaculous. Pretty much the same thing, where you've got a lot of different options here under forums, under microblogs or blogs, ad management, and so on. For WordPress, we click on that. You see it's not totally up to date either, but it is more up to date. That's really not that big of a deal, because you can quickly update any one of these scripts from the inside of the installation once it's installed, even as a older version. Once it's installed, you can go inside of the what's called the back end of this particular script and get it updated from there. So it's really not that big of a deal, but I find with Softaculous, for example, it gives you many more options. For example, whenever you go to install WordPress, it allows us to change the database name right here. We can change the table prefixes for the database, all right here in the setup process or in the installation process of WordPress. Under Fantastico Deluxe, check on New Installation. We're not given that option here. You're only given the availability of installing on a particular directory, which you can also do here, and the access to the data, that being the login information for the username and the password. Same here. That's right down here. But we're not given the ability to change the prefix of the tables or the database name in the installation process. Heck, even here we can enable multi-site options right here. Nowhere near that available here in the Fantastico Deluxe installation. So for me, hands down, Softaculous wins as far as script installation. But not everybody has Softaculous. There's other options out there available too. For HostMonster, for example, that web hosting service, I forget now what that one's called, but it has a similar setup to Softaculous, which is much better than the Fantastico option, which is probably also available. If we head on back here to the cPanel control panel, coming on down here, you've got a lot of third-party options available here, and for some of these, like the Softaculous, you even see that down here at the very bottom. So we've got an additional panel altogether just to handle the available options under Softaculous. But the one item that would stand out more than anything else in the software and services panel would be the one-click script installation program, and in this case we've got two to choose from, that being Softaculous and Fantastical Deluxe, and in this case we've just got the one, Fantastical Deluxe. These other ones you really don't want to mess with unless you absolutely know what you're doing, but again, I would much rather deal with the web hosting service and let them know what you want to do and have them do that for you outside of the script installation process through something like Fantastical Deluxe or Softaculous. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on the software and services panel.